Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, welcome to our 9th lecture, Descriptive Paragraphs. It is chapter 10 in your book, the Write Start book. So we're going to talk about descriptive paragraphs in details to help you write a descriptive paragraph. You know that all paragraphs are built on a topic, and one way to build on a topic is by describing it in detail. Effective description creates images in the reader's mind. The painter uses colors to create this image, but the writer uses what? Uses words, okay? If you choose the effective description, then you can draw an image in the reader's mind. Look at this example. The clouds flew by overhead. It is a simple sentence, non-descriptive, does not have descriptive words. But when we develop this sentence and add descriptive words, it will be: the billowing clouds, like delicious mounds of white mashed potatoes, floated lazily by overhead as though they hadn't a care in the world. Of course, this one is more expressive than the previous one. You know that the specific details help develop the word painting that describes persons, places, things, and also emotions. And you know that the writer sometimes wants to convey the feeling of sadness. At other times, he wants to convey or evoke the feeling of happiness or frustration or hope or sarcasm. How can he do that? By adding these descriptive words. You know that effective description adds the clarity, adds depth, and the feeling to your writing. There are two types of description. One is called objective and the other is called subjective. Objective description relies on factual detail without much embellishment, okay? There are no feelings. It does not add any feelings to the paragraph. Let's see. When I say the snowman consisted of 3 round balls stacked one on top of the other, it stood 5 feet high. Its eyes were round stones with a carrot serving as a stone. A baseball cap sat atop its head. Now these sentences or this paragraph describes how the snowman is built and how it looks like. How is the head, the body, the nose, the eyes? But does it evoke any feelings? Of course not. Okay, we don't have emotions or feelings when we read this paragraph. This is called objective description. What about the subjective description? Look here. The snowman's body consisted of 3 plump balls of fluffy white snow stacked like an ice cream cone. Its eyes were made from brightly colored stones, with a squiggly pigtail at orange carrot serving as a nose. A fuzzy red baseball cap with a crooked bill sat cock-eyed on his head. As you see here, the underlined words add more description to this paragraph, and that creates an image in the reader's mind. It adds emotions, it adds feelings. You can feel that this snowman is funny, or you can feel happy when you read this description about this snowman. So it evokes happiness and it evokes that the snowman is fun. So to compare again between objective and subjective, objective description tells what the writer actually sees, but subjective description shows how the writer feels. This is the difference between the two types. Now let's talk about the devices that are used for descriptions. The first device is the dominant impression. Dominant impression means that your descriptive paragraph should include just one dominant impression. Only one, not more than one dominant impression, okay? And adding descriptive detail helps writer achieve these dominant impressions, okay? When you add details in the support sentences, these details should include the same dominant impression which is included in the topic sentence. So in the whole paragraph, you are going to have only one dominant impression, as we will see. Look here at this sentence. The sky was filled with dark brooding clouds and slivers of bright sunlight glistened toward the ground. As you see here in this sentence, does it have a positive mood or a negative mood of the writer? We don't know. If it has a positive or negative mood, it is not clear. So here the dominant impression is not clear. There is no dominant impression. How to add dominant impression? Let's see now the difference between them. When I say the sky was filled with dark brooding clouds and horrible flashes of lightning sent ugly scars across the horizon. Okay, if you look at this sentence, you can see here the words horrible and the word ugly. Does it evoke the feeling, a positive feeling or a negative feeling? Of course, it has the negative feeling. So it has negative dominant impression. It has negative dominant impression. These words evoke negative dominant impression. But I want you to pay attention now. For these dominant impressions should be specific, not vague. So you have to be selective when you add your descriptive words. They should be specific, not vague. What we mean by specific, not vague? Look at the example. When I say, for example, nice, I want to add this adjective, nice. Nice is a general word. It is used to mean friendly, to mean pretty, to mean neat, to mean clean. So this is not specific. It should not be used. Now look at this activity, at these examples. When I say, for example, Melody was a model, does it have a dominant impression? No. All these sentences do not have dominant impressions. It was evening in Street Lois. The ball game was played. The diamond necklace lay on the dresser. All these sentences do not have a dominant impression. Here we add some adjectives or descriptive words. By adding them, we know that there is a dominant impression. When I say, for example, Melody was a glamorous model, the evening in Lois was dreary, the ball game was exciting, the dazzling diamond necklace lay on the dresser. See here, dazzling, exciting, dreary, glamorous. All these words add a dominant impression which should be continued also in the support sentences. And of course, you can see that these topic sentences with the dominant impression are more expressive than the previous ones. Look at this activity. I want you now to make these vague adjectives into specific ones. Look at the example. The wedding dress was beautiful. Again, beautiful like the word nice. It is not specific. How to make it specific? We can say the wedding dress was dazzling. I'll do the first one for you. The haunted house was scary. Scary is a general word. It is vague. It is not specific. How can we make it specific? For example, we can say the haunted house was hair-raising. Okay? So you can do the rest of the task at home. You can also use a dictionary. It will help you. Okay, so the first device was that we have to add a dominant impression. Now, another device is called sensory images. Sensory images. Description creates images. It tells the reader what a person, a place, or a thing looks like, feels like, smells like, sounds like, tastes like. And all these are related to our 5 senses. They are related to sight, touch, smell, sound, and taste. Okay. Let's see the examples now. If I want to talk about sight, when I say the model walked down the runway wearing a dress, this is non-descriptive. To make it descriptive, we can say the spaghetti thin fashion model slinked down the long runway, wearing a shining cherry red dress. Can you see here? All these words in italics are descriptive words added to this sentence. And they are related to what? To sight. We can see these things all. Now let's see touch examples. Non-descriptive, the new bed sheets were uncomfortable. Okay, when we touch them, they are uncomfortable. How to make it descriptive? We can say the new stiff bed sheets felt like sandpaper scraping against my skin. By adding all these descriptive words, you feel that you are touching the bed sheets by your hands. Okay, smell. Non-descriptive, Fred's car trunk smelled awful. It is a normal sentence without descriptive words. To make it descriptive, we can say Fred's car trunk smelled like a gym locker stuffed with rotten eggs. Look at this expression. Rotten eggs. You feel that you are smelling now. You have a bad smell. Sound. Non-descriptive when I say the band was loud. Loud sound. But when I say the band's ear-splitting punk music was loud enough to make your teeth vibrate. You see? Now your teeth are vibrating because of loudness. Taste. Non-descriptive when we say the bread tasted old. But it will be descriptive when we say the bread tasted musty, like some moldy cheese I ate at my grandmother's house last year. You feel that you are tasting now this old bread. You have this activity. I want you now to use sensory images related to our 5 senses and rewrite the sentences to add sensory images. You can use your dictionary, and we will be these sentences will be discussed in our Zoom session, inshallah. Now, let's talk about comparisons. Okay, so we talked about the devices that we have. We have dominant impression, and we have also sensory images, and now we are going to talk about comparisons. It is called also figurative language, and figurative language has 3 types. They are simile, metaphor, and personification. Let's start with simile. A simile is a comparison between using either like or as to show a similarity between 2 different things. So we have 2 different things. We want to compare between them, showing the similarities that are found in these 2 things using the words like or as. Notice how alike the words simile and similarity are. It means that simile is related to similarity. Let's see the examples. My boss roars like a lion at his employees. The fog was like a blanket covering the city so you couldn't see a thing. The runner was fast as a cheetah and he won the race. The searchlight shined brightly as the sun blocking our vision. When we see here runner and cheetah, they are different, but we compare between them with as because both of them are fast. The same here. Searchlight and sun have what? Shining. They are shining brightly. So they share, or they are similar in shining. And in blocking our vision, we use as to compare between them. The second language figurative is called metaphor. And a metaphor is a stronger comparison between 2 things without using like or as. So there is a comparison between 2 things, but we do not add like or as. The implication is that one thing is the same as the other. We use is, we use was for the singular. My boss is a lion, roaring at all his employees. The fog was a blanket covering the city, so you couldn't see a thing. We don't add like or as in these sentences in expressing the metaphor. The third one of figurative language is personification. In personification, the writer gives human emotions or characteristics to animals, objects, or even ideas. Personification is from person, from human being. So you add the characteristics or the emotions of the human being to these things. Look at the examples. The tree howled in the wind. Love danced in their eyes, danced. The bear cheated his rivals out of their food, cheated. The house's windows winked at the passers-by, winked. The car rested in the driveway after the long drive home, rested. All these words are characteristics of human beings, so they are called personification. This is called personification. In this activity, I want to use the figurative language to make comparisons. You can use a simile, you can use a metaphor, or personification to compare between each two things in each of these three items. You can use also your dictionary, it will help you. Now, let's analyze a descriptive writing. When you practice analyzing descriptive writing, this will help you in writing descriptive paragraphs. This paragraph is taken from an essay, a descriptive essay called Halloween Havoc, and it is written by a student called Erin Nelson. Look here. The spooky old houses come to life at night with the gruesome decorations. With the grotesque carved faces, the jack-o'-lanterns give off an eerie glow. Tombstones line the sidewalk like a long, narrow graveyard. Beware of the bloody hand reaching out to grab intruders. Bats as black as the night sky fly in the quick circles, darting in the air, and a black cat with razor-sharp fangs crosses the path of unseen, terrified prey. The ghosts and the goblins sneak around monster-like trees, ready to snatch their next victim. As you see here in this descriptive paragraph, when you want to analyze it, we have to look to answer these questions. Number one, what is the topic? Let's go back and see what is the topic. As you look here at the topic sentence, there is no topic. We know the topic only from the topic of the essay, Halloween. So the topic is Halloween, and this is an error. This Nelson, the student, should write a topic sentence including the word Halloween. Okay, so the topic is Halloween. What do you think is the dominant impression Nelson is attempting to describe? Okay, let's see. If you look here, when I say, for example, the spooky old house, when I say, for example, carved faces, when I say tombstones, graveyard, night, bats, black, we can also see here goblins, sneak, yes, and victim, snatch. All these words, descriptive words, add what? What is the dominant impression here? It is a frightening impression. It is scary. Okay, so the dominant impression is what? It is scary. It is frightening. It is seen from the words which are used in each sentence. Underline any figurative language techniques you find. How do they enhance the dominant impression? As we said, it is scary. Okay, what are the figurative language that is used that help you know that the dominant impression is scary? I'll tell you one, and I leave that for you to look for the figurative language and images which are used. For example, when I see here, ready to snatch their next victim. Snatch is personification. Personification, okay? And it adds what? A scary impression. Because the snatch is related to human being. You can look for other figurative language at home. Okay. For more practice, please read the paragraphs in practice or activities 5, 6, 7 in your books, and try to analyze the paragraphs, the descriptive paragraphs, in order to know what is the topic, what is the dominant impression, and what are the figurative language that is used and the sensory images that are used in these descriptive paragraphs. This helps you a lot in writing your descriptive paragraphs. Okay, now I'm going to talk about a 10-step process for writing the descriptive paragraph. You have to follow these 10 steps. So, you have to pay attention. You have to follow these 10 steps before writing any descriptive paragraph. Number 1, choose a topic. Of course, when you want to write, first of all, you are going to choose the topic. The topic should be a person, a place, a thing, an idea, an event, or a situation. Number 2, think about the topic and choose the dominant impression, the overall feeling you want your reader to experience. Okay, so after choosing the topic, think about what is the dominant impression, what is the feeling that you want to evoke in your reader, because this dominant impression should be used in all the sentences of the paragraph. 3, write a topic sentence with the dominant impression word included. After deciding on the impression, the dominant impression, you have to write your topic sentence with its topic, its controlling idea, and a word or a phrase expressing the dominant impression. 4, make a list of the details you want to include in the paragraph that will support and clarify the dominant impression. Now you are going, after writing the topic sentence with its dominant impression, you have to write a list as an outline. You know the outline. You have to write a list of the details. The list means that you are going to write only words or phrases. Okay? And these words or phrases should support the dominant impression, should include the dominant impression. Okay, number 5, after writing this list of details, you are going to put each detail into a separate sentence. Number 6, rewrite the sentences using sensory details and figurative language to create descriptive images. Okay, so after writing details in sentences, you are going to rewrite these sentences. Why? To add your, as we said, we have devices for our descriptive paragraphs. These descriptive paragraphs should include sensory images, should include figurative language. Number 7, be certain that the sensory images and figurative devices support the dominant impression. Okay? As I said, remember the whole paragraph with its sensory images and with its figurative devices should support the dominant impression which is stated in the topic sentence. Number 8, proofread for punctuation errors, for sentence fragments, for run-on sentences as discussed before. Number 9, if possible, have another person, somebody else, to read the paragraph. Ask him or her to point out any errors or unclear ideas, then you can rewrite them if necessary. And the last step, prepare your finished paragraph for a presentation to your instructor. Prepare it in its final draft to submit it to your instructor. Now we are going to apply these 10 steps on an example, okay, so that you can do the same at home for a topic that you can choose. Now step number 1, we want the topic, a person you have observed, somebody you have observed. Okay, dominant impression. Now I decided that the dominant impression is what? Is joy. Step number 3, I want now to write the topic sentence with its dominant impression. So we say the man, who was the person, was joyful, from the word joy, when he learned he had the winning lotto number. Okay, so the man was joyful when he learned he had the winning lotto number. We have here the dominant impression, we have here the topic, and we have the controlling idea. Now we're going to step number 4. That is, you are going to list the details. Okay? List the details, the outline of the details. Only list like phrases. These details include facial expressions, eyes and mouth, mannerisms, hand gestures and body language, clothing like style, color, accessories. Okay, speech like expressions and loudness. Number 5, you are going, as we said before, step number 5, you are going to write a sentence for each detail. We have 4 details with 4 sentences. The man smiled and his eyes lit up. This is facial expression. He held his arms over his head and danced all around the store. This is what? Mannerism. He was wearing a yellow shirt, white pants, and a gold necklace matching the 3 gold diamond rings on each hand. This is clothing. He yelled and screamed about how happy he was to be a millionaire. This is speech. Now we're going to move to step number 6. What is step number 6? It is to change each sentence that contains a detail into a descriptive sentence. This is non-descriptive. You are going to change it to add some descriptive words and figurative language to be descriptive. And of course, here you have your first draft of paragraph. The man was joyful when he learned he had the winning lotto number. He smiled and his eyes lit up. The previous is the topic sentence, and here are the support sentences. Detail number 1. Detail number 2. He held his arms over his head and danced around the store. Detail number 3. He was wearing a yellow shirt, white pants, and a gold necklace matching the 3 gold diamond rings on each hand. And detail number 4. He yelled and screamed about how happy he was to be a millionaire. Now, I'm going to write each sentence of this detail and rewrite it again to be descriptive. Here the sentences, the 4 sentences are non-descriptive. We want to develop them to be descriptive by adding figurative language, sensory images, and descriptive details and descriptive words or adjectives. Look here. The man was joyful when he learned he had the winning lotto number. This is the topic sentence. Detail number 1, he smiled and his eyes lit up. This is detail number 1, support sentence. It could be his smile flashed like a beam of light and his eyes twinkled. As you see here, this is a simile. We use like. And this is sight. Okay, it is a sensory image related to sight. Sentence number 2, the support sentence number 2, the detail number 2, he held his arms over his head and danced around the store. This is non-descriptive. To be descriptive, we can say he waved his shaking arms over his head as he danced around the store like a statue made from jello that had suddenly come to life. As you see here, waved, shaking, they are related to sight. It is a sensory image related to sight. But here, when I say like a statue, it is a simile. Let's see detail number 3, support sentence number 3. He was wearing a yellow shirt, white pants, and a gold necklace matching 3 gold diamond rings on each hand. It can be descriptive by adding these words. He wore a bright yellow satin shirt and gleaming white slacks, accented by a shining gold necklace matching 3 sparkling diamond rings on each hand. Here, this is related to sight. Yellow, bright yellow, it is related to sight. Satin, touch, you can touch the shirt which is made of satin. Gleaming white, related to sight. Shining, sight. Sparkling, also related to sight. So we have figurative language and we have sensory images. Detail number 4, he yelled and screamed about how happy he was to be a millionaire. Could be descriptive by adding these words. The jewelry seemed to cry out, I'm rich, I'm a millionaire. Here, this is personification. because who cries out? The human being, not the jewelry. So this is personification of figurative language. Now let's move to question number 7. Does the following list support the dominant impression of joy? We know that the dominant impression in this paragraph is joy. Okay, so when you added the descriptive words, ask yourself, do these words add and support the dominant impression? Add a dominant impression and support the dominant impression? Let's see. Flashed like a beam of light, twinkled, waved, shaking, like a statue made from jello, bright yellow, satin, gleaming white, shining, sparkling. Jewelry seemed to cry out, I'm rich. Of course, all of them support the dominant impression of joy. Now, step number 8, proofread the paragraph. For finding the errors, punctuation marks, and as we said, fragments, run-on sentences, comma splice, and so on. Step number 9, have someone else read the paragraph and make comments. This will help you a lot. And number 10, rewrite the paragraph. You can write now the last and final draft of the paragraph in order to submit or present it to your instructor. Let's see the final draft of the paragraph. The man was joyful when he learned he had the winning lotto number. His smile flashed like a beam of light and his eyes twinkled. He waved his shaking arms over his head as he danced around the store like a statue made from jello that had suddenly come to life. He wore a bright yellow satin shirt and gleaming white slacks, accented by a shining gold necklace matching 3 sparkling diamond rings on each hand. The jewelry seemed to cry out, I'm rich, I'm a millionaire. Now compare this final paragraph to the original, and you can see how much more effective the final paragraph is. The dominant impression is clear. The support sentences clearly describe the dominant impression. Okay, look at this activity. I want you now to choose any person from these topic, possible persons, any person you know, okay, an actor, actress, athlete, entertainer, relative, historical figure, any person from these items, and apply the 10 steps of writing a descriptive paragraph. Let's see. First of all, you are going to choose the topic from the previous ones. Then you are going to write the dominant impression that you are going to use in the whole paragraph. After that, you can write the topic sentence, including the dominant impression. Then you can add, in step number 4, you can write a list of the details, like in phrases or group of words. And in step number 5, put each detail from the previous in a separate sentence. Then, in number 6, rewrite the sentences creating descriptive images by using sensory details and figurative language techniques, as we said, to change them from non-descriptive sentences to be descriptive sentences. Put these sentences into a paragraph to forming the topic sentence at first, and then in number 7, you can check to make sure the descriptive images support the dominant impression by making a list of the sensory details, figurative language. For example, you write the dominant impression here, and you write the list of descriptive images that you added. Then ask yourself, do they support the dominant impression or not? In number 8, proofread your paragraph. Then in number 9, ask somebody else to read the paragraph if there are any errors that you can correct them. And in step number 10, you can write your final paragraph version in order to submit it to your instructor. Now, I want you to apply this also again on a topic that you can choose from page 174. There are many topics. Choose the one that you like, and please apply the 10 steps to write a descriptive paragraph. This is homework for you. Okay, chapter self-assessment. It is found in your books, page 176, and you can read these sentences. We have 8 sentences and decide whether they are true or false. This will be discussed in our Zoom session, inshallah. Thank you so much for listening. Stay healthy and safe. Goodbye.